Hi, here I am again. And I'm Gerald. I'm the owner of the Cats of Life. So I'm doing the YouTube channel, the blog, the Facebook page, um, and this is for the YouTube channel, of course. Now, every now and then I'll have a topic that I'll pick that may be based on one of the articles that I post. Some of the articles that I post will be from professionals or from just professional writers that do some research and put things together. And in those cases, I put the authors and such. And, there's some sources I pull the information from. But if I feel it's going to be beneficial information for you, I will go ahead and present it. One such case is I have on my blog that's WordPress.com, the Cats of Life 967-98707. Okay. I'm doing the free accounts, so until I generate some money, it's got to be the Cats of Life, all one word, 967-98707. Okay. All right, so let's get down to business. Now, the article that I'm talking about right now is called "Bringing Home Your New Cat or Kitten," and it was written by Gabby Hall. And I just don't feel it covers enough details or enough of the variables. I present it because if I were to change it and post it under my name, then that's not right. So let me go ahead and give you the information that I've got here. She talks about when bringing a new cat or kitten into your home, you need to check out breeds, find out what traits appeal to your lifestyle. Now, this is a very important point because if you get the wrong cat for your family, if you get one like a Bengal or certain active cats are difficult to keep because you have to exercise on a regular basis. Whereas, some of the cats get a little bit bigger, like a regular tabby, or like I have one that's a black and white cat. She gets over here. Maybe I'll show it to you. You can find out about her on the blog as well. But they may put on a little bit of weight, not be as active, be slower. They might be more of a lap kitty. And then you have cats like the Siamese that are very loud. I have one over here that's half Siamese, Sweet Pea. They're a very loyal cat. They're good with one person in particular. So if your family wants to divide attention, it may get a little more focused on just one person. So that may cause some issues there. So definitely check out the breeds. And some breeds will grow big, like the Maine Coon. Can get up to into 20 some pounds. I have a Maine Coon. I think he's like 15, 16 pounds. He's over there. He's big and fluffy. Causes a lot of hair. My Norwegian Forest is a little bit lighter, but he causes more hair problems. So let's see. Those are all considerations that you have to research the particular breeds, and I can speak to that. Also, lifespan. I don't know if you can hear Bird over there knocking on the door. Hey, Bird, cut it out. Come up here and get on camera. And another thing is when cats have their habits and develop their habits. Bird's an old man. He has things that he's developed over the years. He's about 10 years old, and they'll live anywhere from 15 to 20 oftentimes. But once they get past about 4 or 5 years old, they're pretty set in their ways, and it's more difficult to train them or get them to do things. Now, he's developed, the habit of knocking on the door when he wants to go out, or now he's just sitting over there. And so you have to, you have to consider the intelligence of the cat as well. Siamese, like this little girl over here, are very smart, trainable. And young cats are going to be trainable. So, for instance, establishing certain habits like becoming a lap cat or that type of thing, it's better to get a younger cat, anywhere from very small kitten up to about 1.5 years. maybe 2 years. That's the time when they start to get a little more established. Now, one nice thing about cats is uh, they don't develop a herd mentality or necessarily just a pack mentality where they have to stay with that one pack or pride or uh, cowder, uh, cowder, which is a group of cats. So they don't develop that to where they're just um, that live or die. They can uh, adopt, adapt, and adopt another family. So it's possible to get an older cat, and if you're going to go to a shelter, you're going to usually find older cats anywhere from about 4 years up to about 7 or 8 years, and you end up with senior cats at that point. And the senior cats, they usually have a reduced fee for um, uh, for adoption. Now, one thing about adopting from shelters and such is in certain rescue programs is they will usually have the animals, the lovies. I don't use the term fur babies. I think that's insulting to them. But anyway, they will generally fix them, have them fixed. They'll make sure that they've had their inoculations, their shots, their uh, oftentimes licensing and such. So it can be an advantage because you're putting that money up front and adding a little bit more for the adoption service. Uh, because you're going to have those expenses no matter what with a cat. Okay? You're going to end up spending. Let's say you go get a cat fix and you get a certificate from the county that reduces it. It's still, some county is going to cost you about $70 on up. I think Santa Barbara County is cheap. It's like 20 to $50 that we get it down to, something like that. We'd have to check the Santa Maria Valley facility, but depending where you live, it can cost you upwards of $70. And you look at the adoption fee being that. A lot of times they have their own doctors to do that, or they'll at least verify, and then they'll make sure they get their shots and such, and they'll get a vet check, which a vet checkup you're looking at $70 too. So by the time you're into all of this, you could be into a cat for a couple $100 easily. On your own. So if you go through an adoption service, look at it that way. Look at it as a savings. Don't sit there and say, oh, God, it's going to cost me $60 to adopt this cat or $80 to adopt this cat. Look at it and say, hey, I'm saving, you know, half that, half of what I would have spent anyway. And another thing too, certain shelters and such, check with them because some of them will run specials. Like for Valentine's Day, I got one of my cats from Woods Animal Shelter for $14 for Valentine's Day. Sometimes they'll do half price. Senior cats, are usually reduced. So, look for those specials. It's worth it. Now, if you go to a breeder and get a specific breed, there are a couple of things you have to look out for. One of them is inbreeding. Another one is the quality of the breeder, because these cats may not be socially suitable. Something about a cat from shelters that's been socialized per se. They do a lot of handling with them. They're getting used to people. Now they'll hear and smell other cats around, so maybe they'll get used to being around other cats somewhat. They can tell you about the character of the cat. Whereas a breeder, they don't really have them that long to be able to tell you that. If they have them a year, that's a long time. But a lot of times, the shelter, when they take in the cat, they'll ask the person, "Tell me about this cat," and they'll get all the characteristics. Because a lot of people have to give up their cats if they're moving out of the area or they're going to a restaurant or whatever. They have to give up the cat, and they're more than happy to provide that information. So the information that you get is going to be much better for a cat that you get from a shelter or adopt. So, and you don't get that from strays. I've taken in a couple of strays that I have no history of. So, there are advantages to adopting. I'm just telling you, adopt. Go and find, if you want a purebred, find a rescue service that deals with that breed. Okay? Find somebody, check around with your, there are going to be cat organizations, forgot what they're called, but you know, cat rescues or cat uh, clubs or whatever. Contact them. Find out from them. You know where you can adopt a use um, a cat of the breed that you're looking for, either you know purebred or at least close to it. It's like Sweet Pea over here. She's half Siamese, and I tell you, she definitely gives off the Siamese vibe. She is definitely a Siamese cat. There's no two ways about it. So, um, you know, just even just a mix of some sort. As a matter of fact, I think it's either Lynx Point or Minx Point Siamese, which you know she has that look. She was a mix between a pure Siamese and a tabby cat. That's why the girl was tucked in the mouth. And so she has that point coloring and the striping and the white that this Minx Point or Lynx Point, I forget which, has. And so, you know, she does look like a particular breed of Siamese. She's loud, she's loyal, she's pushy, she's, you know, I try to push her away from the door to let other cats in and out when I don't want her to go in and out at that time. And she, she's been there years now. You know, consider that as far as the breeds and the sources. You know, they're going to live for 15 to 20 years. So even if you do get a senior cat, you know you're still going to have several years. You're going to be able to have that cat have a wonderful life, you know, a special life, a good family. Hopefully, you'll be a good family. And so when you finally figure out what you want and what's going to fit in with you and your family or your significant other or you know, with the other cats in your crazy cat lady hoarding environment, whatever, which please don't hoard cats. I have too many cats as it is. Okay, I did not expect to have this many cats. My ex and I, you know, we see these cats, and each one has a story, which will be on the blogs. You'll also see some videos here, so be sure and subscribe to us here, because by subscribing to my page here, my channel, when I do post something new, you'll get notification. Yeah, if you don't like it, you don't watch it. You know. But at least you'll know. So if you're looking for information or you're entertained by these things, who knows? Hopefully, as soon as I get into you know better editing conditions, I'll be able to put together you know more entertaining, better videos for you. That's my goal, is to entertain you and teach you and all this stuff, and be goofy and weird, whatever. All right, so anyway, once you do decide to get them, you know you're going to have to consider food, water bowls, litter box, maybe a bed, maybe some grooming tools. Depending on the breed, you may need a brush or comb. You know, you got to figure out what kind of toys you're going to want. Take it easy on the toys at first because you don't know what they're going to want. Oh, I don't have it. You know, just even a piece of string. They go for a piece of string. I have sticks where the toys actually came off the end of the string. And they go crazy just for the string. I'll kind of whip it around, you know, and stuff like that. And they go after it, and they got to grab it and yank on it. And, you know, I have a couple pieces of rope here that I hang from one of the cat trees. And sometimes I'll kind of throw that up at them, and they'll grab that and roll around with it and have fun. Don't go to any big expenses yet. You know, wait to see what kind of things they like. Some cats will like fake mice. Some will like balls. Some will chase, you know, little pen caps around all over the place. You know, make sure it's not the small pen caps that they can grab and swallow and get blockage. Okay. But you know, sometimes they'll play with. You can just crumple up a piece of paper and throw it on the floor, and they'll chase it. You know, and then when they're bored with it, you just leave it alone. You can throw it away. It didn't cost you anything because you just took a scrap of paper that you were going to throw away anyway and crumpled it up. Think that way. Think simple. Think inexpensive. And then go to like you know the Dollar Tree or 99-cent stores in your area. Look for cat toys there. You know you can get them super cheap. Of course, you're going to need a litter box. And this is a matter of personal choice, and an established cat's going to have their preference as well. Um, so mine are very particular about making sure they have a scented. Yeah, and there's a lot of controversy over whether you use scented or unscented. And I tell you, I've tried both, and mine prefer the scented. As a matter of fact, I've had to buy deodorizing powder to make sure that it still has scent. Because I have 3 cats that will not use the potty if it doesn't smell right. 2 of them, as soon as I clean out the potty, they'll sit there and they'll watch and they'll wait for me to sprinkle powder on, and then they'll sniff it and get in. You know, so you have all these preferences for the cat. So, some of them aren't considered really healthy, or some are considered controversial. But me, I use Fresh Start or the ones in the buckets. I forget what it's called. I use those because they're clumping. Uh, let's say software clumping litter, and um, you may find that that works out better for you because it's easier to clean out the box. You don't have to change the whole box out as often as you do with regular litter. Regular litter, you can get like Johnny Cat clay litter for maybe $5 a bag versus $15 a bag for what I buy. And I buy mine online. I go to PetSmart. I go to Chewy. It's owned by PetSmart. And in a lot of places will actually do price matching. PetSmart will actually match the Chewy prices. So if you find it online at the Chewy website cheaper than at PetSmart, you can get it there. I recommend you go on there and look at things. I recommend at the minimum, for sure, a cat scratcher, which would either be one of those cardboard things or a post, or both is preferable. Because a little cardboard thing, you can sprinkle a little bit of catnip in there, and if they react to the catnip, well, they'll play with that and then they'll start scratching it. You want something healthy for them to scratch because they will scratch. They need to scratch. They have to use up and wear down their claws. Okay, gosh, how long is this thing getting? Is this getting to be too long? I may have to do this in 2 videos. So, and I know I'm talking fast here, and I'm doing that on purpose because I know it's going to take a long time. I'd rather, get a lot of information out to you, and you can watch it over again if you need to. Okay? So, you're going to need the cat tree and/or scratching post. You're going to need a scratcher, cardboard scratcher. You're going to need the litter box. You're going to need some litter, of course, some food. Now, food, there's a lot of contention. If you walk into PetSmart, you're going to see prices anywhere from, $10 a bag up to $50, $60 a bag. Here we have a place called Limos, and we also have a farm supply place. Hey, Yuki, come here. And they're going to be a little bit more, but they're going to have the higher end, like Royal and these other brands that are going to be the top brands. In fact, some of them have avocado, but it's strange because I've been told that you shouldn't feed avocado to cats. I guess it's causes digestion problems, and it's possible for them to get like IBD, irritable bowel disorder, or inflammatory bowel, I guess it is with cats. So that's a little tough on them. So without checking with a vet, I wouldn't go with the avocado yet. Check with the vet. So a lot of cats have allergies to grains, so there's a lot of grain-free, there's a lot of gluten-free, which there's a whole controversy about gluten-free for humans too. There's poultry-free. I have one of my cats. I found out the hard way that he has problems with poultry. I can't give him chicken, and he has a problem with salmon too. That's Yuki. So, hey, Yuki, come up here. Come here. Come over here, baby boy. There we go. Come on over here, Yuki. Come on over here, Yuki. That's my boy. That's my boy. Oh, see, I told you. This is the one that weighs about 15 pounds. He's all muscle. He's not fat. He's all muscle. Get out of here. No, no, gracias. Gracias. Um, neighbors, right? And so he has trouble with salmon and chicken. So I have to, now, I can't segregate his food because the other cats will eat it. So if I buy the expensive stuff, I'm going to go through it like crazy. I already spend this on dry food. I have to buy these big 30-pound bags for a month. Um, so, talking about 30-pound bags for like some of these poultry-free, grain-free, talking about $50. I guess it's not a huge difference. Changing them over, but if you're on a budget, it can be tough. So, considering the food that you're going to get them, you want to have plenty of protein without a lot of fat. So, for instance, in the canned food, you can buy those little individual ones. If you have one cat, that's great. With my cats, I have to feed 3 cans in a night for all my cats. Okay. It takes 3 cans to feed all my cats. So listen to that. So, I spend a lot on the canned food, and I get the Friskies, and I know this has a fairly high fat content, uh, but each one's getting about half a can, so it's not like they're getting the full fat content, and they'll burn it off because I do let them out for periods during the day. That's another thing I'll have to deal with that in the next video. I'm gonna wrap this one up here pretty soon, and hopefully you can hear me when I talk a little like that. So, you have to consider if you're going to get them canned food. Um, and if you're the type of person that is going to be a remote parent, um, you're not going to have a lot of time at home. You want to have them primarily on the dry food and maybe save the canned food as a treat. Um, and you don't want to just feed them tuna or like straight roast chicken or things like that. For one thing, the chicken may be marinated with something they shouldn't have. But even if you roast it yourself in the oven, it's not a complete. They need certain uh, vitamins and minerals. They need taurine. They need certain things in their diet that those don't provide. I will give them, maybe once a month. I will give them tuna. They're crazy about tuna. Okay, and they would have it every day if they could. So, uh, I'll do that once a month just as a treat. That way they don't get a lot of the mercury, they don't get a lot of the other, fish oils and such that could be a little fatty for them and cause some, dietary issues if you feed them just tuna too much. Right? So there's an issue there as well. You have to consider when you're feeding. Feeding is an important issue, and if you're new to cats, that's what you gotta see. Um, and then we'll cover veterinarians in the next one too. Some cats like sleeping on beds, some don't. I put beds out. I bought, the things that are like, enclosed things with padding inside. Every now and then a cat will sleep in that. But for the most part, they get up on top of the cat trees and just spread out and they're fine. But they sleep on my bed. They spread out and they're fine. I'm not so fine because I end up with 3 or 4 cats on my bed and I can't move. But, they're fine with whatever, I mean, they lay out on the coffee table here. Like she's all comfy over here on the couch, and she's got the little blanket, quilted blanket thing that I put down here for them. So they'll sleep there. I'll get like 3 or 4 cats on the couch here. A couple of them up on top, 3 or 4 of them down there. You know, just all over the place. So they're not picky about where they sleep. So stylist. Okay, well, let me cover that in the next one. So veterinarian, stylist, and whatever the other thing was. I'll go back and listen to this and see how crazy it is. I guess I could just keep. No, now if I do that, then I have to worry back at it. I'm just going to cut this one off. So, yeah, veterinarian, exams. You have to have annual exams. Cover that. And the chipping and all of that, and the shots and such. We covered all of that as far as shelters, rescue groups, and such, and what they do for you. So, and then exercise, cat proofing. Okay, yeah, those are all things we're going to cover. See, there's your preview of the next video. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one up as soon as I can here so that you'll have this information. Again, the Cats of Life, which you'll see at the very end of this video. I do add that at the very end of the video, and you have a very short period of time to be able to, leave it up for like 10 seconds at the end. So you'll be able to get the Cats of Life 967 98707.wordpress.com. Bing. Okay, so check that out. Keep checking out YouTube's here. Subscribe. Guess the button's down here somewhere. Subscribe. Like this video, because the more likes I get, the more chances it's going to stick around. So please do that. You'll help me out. You'll help you out. You'll help other people out that really need to have this information. Okay? All right. So let me go ahead and cut this off. And oh shoot, you can't even see me there. 25 minutes. I wonder if it'll let me do that. I'm gonna have to break this one up into 2 videos. Okay. Bye bye. Check out the next video.